Short game wise, yes, I can. Long game wise, no. No, I have not.
He's talking the long game.
They played the long game.
The long game gotta play the long game.
They're experienced and they played the long game.
No, you're talking the long game.
They're experienced and they played the long game.
Very nice.
Long game is back.
All right, hey, and welcome to the Long Game Podcast. I'm Dave. This is Casey. Case, a lot of reaction from your friend group from this podcast this week. They
one of these exact quotes was Dave Gerhardt has. Well, it wasn't Dave Gerhardt. It was misspelled. It was Dave Gerhardt.
Gerhardt. Just complete disrespect. Like, try less.
Of course, but he did pay you a compliment at the end of that. He said he has a nice podcast voice. And speaking of nice podcast voice, you might notice Dave made me get a new microphone this week, so I don't sound like I'm underwater like Aquaman anymore. But I will say I did pick up, in addition to a mic in the last week, a daycare virus. So you can really hear the RSV in my lungs if you really hone in on it. So
yeah, that's like, it sounds like a tour event. Like this week, the PJ Tour is at the RSV Classic.
Yep, we're taking a pause this week in our corporate sponsor challenge, but yeah, that's going on.
All right, so we hit the ground running this week with the pod, and first episode is out. And actually, let me just refresh the stats real quick because it's worth checking this out. We are now up to 54 downloads all time, and so I'm not sure.
Can I just say too?
Yeah,
and this is a little bit of a problem this weekend. If you see Dave and I at the grocery store, or you see us at the park with our kids, please don't ask for a photo. That's our time on the weekends. You get Thursdays with us. It's free. Be happy with that. Please leave us alone in public.
Maybe Thursdays. We'll see how quickly the editing happens.
The funny thing is that might actually be a problem for you. That is not a problem for me. So
do you have
to the Dave fans out there?
So this is actually a serious bridge from this. Mm-hmm. When I lived in Boston, you'd often see people from the sports world around Boston, right? I'd see a Morris twin, don't know which one, walking down Newbury Street.
Yep.
I saw Julian Edelman at Mother Juice one time, right?
Sure.
And Leah gives me so much shit for this, but it's like, I feel like it's an appropriate. When I see somebody that I know, if they're famous as an example, I actually think it's cooler if I don't do anything. And I'll do like the small, like fist bump, like on the way out, I'll be like, "What's up, man?" Something very subtle.
Yeah. No, I love that.
What's your move?
I was probably maybe a month or two ago, I was walking down Newbury Street and I was like in step with Robert Williams III, formerly of the Celtics.
Wow.
And there was like three people coming towards us on the sidewalk. There was no one. It was like a Wednesday, 11 a.m. And like two guys came right up to him, gave him the fist pump. And I just was like, I'm going to let him enjoy his day. Like I love this guy and I love him so much. I'm going to let him enjoy his day and not bother him at all. So
yeah. And I want people to think like, man, that dude, that was just like a cool regular ass dude that just said what's up to me. I wish all my fans were like that.
I'll tell you a good move you can do though. I did this at a Celtics game once. I was just walking in step. I looked over, it was Jonah Hill. So I reached over, I said, hey Jonah. And I shook his hand. I go, good to see you again. And then I walked away. And I'm sure to this day, he's like, who the fuck was that guy? I'm sure he has that a lot in his life though. So, but keep him guessing. If you can leave a lasting impression with a celebrity, you should, even if it's like psychological warfare.
The good to see you again part. Oh my! How many times like that happens? Like if you meet a friend or a friend of the family.
Yep.
I always just kind of pretend like we've met, and I'm like, oh hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Like I get so uncomfortable when somebody's like, have we met?
Yeah.
And then you have to explain it. That's a power move.
Well, I can give you one of the all-time great moves there at a wedding cocktail party. Someone you kind of know, can't quite remember their name. My dad, I think he invented this, but you go up to the person and maybe you're introducing them or whatever, but you say, hey, I'm so sorry, I forget your name. And then they say like Jake. And you go, no, you hit him. You go, Jake, I know your name's Jake. What's your last name? Because it has to be the right kind of person though, that right? Like it's someone you should know their first name, but last name, it's not that disrespectful if you don't remember that. But it's a great way to unlock that first name without looking like an asshole.
I love that.
And I just outed myself for doing this about 200 times over the last 10 years at weddings. So
No, what's your last name? Related to that, my move with like, especially somebody like in a customer service role, like hey, what's your name? Casey?
yeah.
Yeah.
Casey.
Thank you, Casey. It's like, just it makes you feel really,
Yeah.
makes you feel really good.
I feel seen. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of texts. A lot of texts are like, this guy, Casey Ford, he's got a personality. He's funny.
They spelled my last name right?
Yeah, they did. You know, you got one of those easy Ford. You know, nobody's slandering your last name in the text messages. That guy, whoever, I hope he's listening this episode. He spelled my name Geerheet. Like, just
You're not going to believe this, but he's a lawyer.
a lawyer.
Yep.
I'd expect more out of a lawyer.
They got bigger fish to fry than spelling.
We got one listener in Sweden. We had initially talked about figuring out how to say thank you and welcome to the podcast in Swedish, but Casey got RSV, so we didn't have time to do that. But
you don't think I know how to say tack?
Is that what Swedish? It means? Tack?
T-A-C-K is thank you. Or tusen tack, which is 1,000 thank yous, or like, really, really thank you. So
wow.
There you go. I have to sorry to interrupt. I have to assume that's a Spotify executive in Sweden is like considering making some kind of lucrative offer for us. So
no, it's quality. It's quality control. It's a Swedish intern they make go and listen to all of the.
Now garbage. I got this new mic. The dollar sign just went up. Price just went up, buddy.
Yeah, here's the Fat Joe line after the Locks and Dipset versus battle. He's Jadakiss like rap live for the first time ever, and Fat Joe's just screaming into the mic about Jadakiss. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and it's the best.
I love that. That's a sample on a Pusha T song. Anyway, that's for our rap podcast.
Which, man, we have so many deep cuts in the rap world, but that's a different one. So, anyway, last week the guys were at the RSM Classic. Speaking
RSV Classic.
The RSV Classic. Speaking of Swedes, our guy Ludvig. Did you know that like around the Ryder Cup they started pronouncing his people must have gotten in his ear. They start his name is Ludvig Aberg.
I'm so disappointed. I was ready for you to butcher the last name so I could jump on you because I heard this yesterday too. Yeah, Aberg.
But I feel like I had been watching because one of the guys from the No Laying Up podcast, TC, has been on this guy Ludvig for years, and it's become a thing, and it was his guy, and then like he won that DP World Tour event, he got on the Ryder Cup team, he's just been unbelievable. So I've had his name in my ear for a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the first time Ryder Cup I watch it, but he's an absolute freak. Final round 61. Tied the 72-hole scoring record on the tour, matching 253 of JT at the 2017 Sony Open. What's crazy when these guys black out and shoot 61 like that, I mean, it just makes me think about how hard golf is, right? Like I could go on the same course and go and be lucky to shoot in the 90s. This guy shoots a final round 61. He made one bogey all week. And he turned pro 5 months ago, and he's already won on the DP World Tour, the PGA Tour, and obviously most people will have remembered the absolute throttling of Scotty and Brooks at the Ryder Cup 9 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a good thing and a good time for him to get the word out on how to pronounce his name, because I think this is a guy you're going to hear about for a very, very long time. I think he is already one of the most hyped prospects to really come on tour in a really long time, but not many guys like that deliver. Like you said, 2 wins in the 6 months. 6 months ago, he's in college, right? 2 wins, Ryder Cup win, setting these scoring things. I think he was last year offered something like $2.5 million to go to live, and in 6 months on tour, he's earned like over $3 million. So he made the right choice there, and people don't need to, watch the CW to see him. So he came out golden on that. But yeah, I think he's just going to be a monster. Right? I think him making that Ryder Cup told you all you need to know, that they not just thought he was good enough to play, but they wanted to get him some reps because they see him as the guy for a decade or two on that team. So exciting times for him. He's a hell of a player, fun to watch.
He absolutely mashes the ball. If anybody doesn't know that, He's like a 185, 190 ball speed guy, which is just insane. And if you haven't seen him swing, go to YouTube and just put it in there, because his swing is it's so smooth. It looks so effortless, and how far and how fast he swings the club, it's ridiculous. I just looked it up for this week. He averages 309 yards off the tee, which is obviously insane, but his driving accuracy. So we talked last week about your boy, what was that guy's name? Phil Atkins?
No clue, but I knew it was 69 fairways in a row.
The 69 man. Ludvig this week hit 82% of the fairways. So that's 46 out of 56 fairways. And like, we don't know where those 10 were. Maybe it's just like in the right rough, but imagine hitting it 310 off the tee and hitting 82% of fairways. It's insane.
It's just, it is. And I didn't even think about this, but where is he from, Dave?
He's a Swede. He could have been the listener. Yeah.
And he won this week. Could it be, I don't know, if he downloads it in Sweden, hops on a plane, wins the RSV Classic? Is that kind of, or is it parents? I don't know. I'm going to say there's some connection here.
He seems like a Spotify guy too, right? Like he's not going to be an Apple podcast guy.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
A lot of banter this week at Long Game Pod HQ about whether we should share the Spotify link or Apple. And I'm glad that we went with the Spotify, because we got Ludvig to listen to the pod. Anyway, that's all we're going to touch on. Did you watch any of the golf this week?
A little bit. Aside from contracting RSV, I spent a lot of time to and from hospital settings with kids and birthday parties to spread that disease to others. So no, not too much, but I did get to watch some of the highlights last night. And the thing that really I took away from it, I watched the back nine, the replay on Golf Channel last night.
The whole thing?
No, the back nine. Sorry.
I know, but like the whole back nine?
Yeah, I don't watch commercials and stuff.
Okay. It's like 40 minutes?
Yeah, around that. And I it really just struck me like this guy's going to be around for a while. And the tour is almost at this point where I want to say like it's the next generation coming, because it's not like a replacement generation. It's just what golf does. They kind of reload, right? And they add more competition. But they're in a really good place. Like you can already start to see this next generation forming with him. Sam Bennett, the Gordon Sargent, that kid from Vandy, hits the ball 600 yards. Yeah. Michael Thorne Bjornsson. And Tom Kim's like 20, 21. Thigala's 24, 25. Like, it's in a great place. Like we saw this happen with like the Ricky, JT, Spieth generation. And I feel like this is kind of the next one. It's a fun time. It's what makes Tiger what makes what Tiger did so incredible. He dominated a game so much that he inspired a generation that he then had to compete against. These kids aren't going to have that problem, but they've got the fallout of just the popularity and stuff. So
they all kind of have like this similar. So this is where, and I'm not super deep on like the whole rollback and technology and the ball and clubs discussion, but one thing that I don't hear a lot of people discuss about that is these guys have all, like these kids, right? They've all grown up in the era of TrackMan and coaching and video and technology, and
instant
it's like
feedback.
If you watch some of these, like if you watch Gordon Sargent as an example, or Sam Bennett or Sahith, they kind of all have this like crazy side bend. They have this like, their swings don't look like the swings of people who played golf 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. And so like, it's like, yeah, on one side, like the technology has gotten better and the ball goes further and the clubs go further, but these guys have learned how to swing, like how to move their body and swing in a way, or like even just the way JT moves. Like that's a big reason they're able to generate so much speed and so consistent. And there's a lot of like, these guys have unpacked the craft of a golf swing and broken it down. And people like love to shit on Bryson for how nerdy and into the swing he is, but like that stuff is all true. Like they've found the science of this, and they've been able to, you think like, you think Harry Vardon or Bobby Jones or whoever was like they kind of understood the biomechanics of the body a little bit, but now like I go to a guy down the street who puts me on video and there's an AI body scan of like my pelvis rotation. And that's what these kids are learning at 12, 13, 14 years old.
It's a great point on Bryson too, because I hadn't really thought about that. But like I remember the first time I really started hearing a lot about a lot of those kind of things were when Bryson came out and they were like, oh, he's an engineer and he's in the lab and he's cutting his irons longer. Swing speed. He's trying to get to this swing speed. I know that that's a big thing on tour for forever, but that was the first time I felt like it really made it more into the mainstream. Those kind of conversations, and it's a good point. I mean, Bryson did kind of push the game forward more than I think we've really realized looking back now, right? I mean, and then he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, just a product of living on the CW again. But it's interesting, like so many people are chasing that speed. I think even some of the guys, I think Rory had said like he got caught up chasing that speed and it kind of hurt his game, right?
Yeah, Bryson. Oh, that's a miss for me. The Ryder Cup leading up to the Ryder, and we'll move on from this segment in a second. But the Ryder Cup clip of him in his match, I think he played Sergio, where he drives the first green.
Yeah.
Then he's walking down the first fairway with his putter raised, and then he made a 20-foot eagle putt. That was an electric moment.
Yeah, as electric as you can have in that kind of hat.
All right, let's flip over to the Grinders Tour. Casey and I every week, we're not gonna be able to get so deep into the world of picks, given the fact that combined we watch about 18 minutes of golf each week, at least right now during this season. But each week we're doing the Grinders Tour, which is we're gonna pick a guy outside. We're gonna each pick 3 people outside of the top 150. Case, how did your guys remind everybody who you picked, and let's go through how they finished this week and what they made.
Yeah, sure. So I went with Grayson Sigg. I went with Ryan Palmer, and I went with Tyler Duncan, who was the previous year's champion. And I think I told you right here last week, Dave, that he loved the course, and that was a guess because he had won there previously. But turns out he did love the course, and he loved it again this year. He finished in a T3, so he was my big money maker. And I. Once you give your picks too, and then we can give the leaderboard.
All right, yeah. Then you can move the mic stand out of the way, and we can get that. We can get the cash. Sponsored by Cash App. We can get the Cash App stuff in the background. But I had our boy Camilo. Don't know why. They think he's going to go back to back or do something meaningful. But respectable finish. Did all 3 of your guys make the cut?
No, they didn't. Ryan Palmer took the weekend off. I gave him the weekend off.
All right, so 2 out of 3 on the cut. I had Camilo Villegas, T58, made the cut. Harry Higgs, the big rig, he had missed 15 of his last 20 cuts, but because we had some money on him, my guy Harry made the cut, finished T68. And then Big Stu, don't call him a unit, Stu Sink. I got some fan mail, by the way, who said not only is he a unit, but he's in his 60s. That's right. T44 for Stu Sink this week. So I didn't make as much money as you, I don't think, but all 3 guys made the cut.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, so the updated scoreboard is, where was it? Well, I can just move it here. Dave has 60,443.
Yeah, baby.
And Casey came in at 724,500.
Wow! Thanks to your boy Todd Duncan. What was his name?
And we'd love to have Todd Duncan on the podcast. Tyler Duncan.
Tyler Duncan.
To you. So again, whoever, I think we're going something like that was the first of 34 tournaments we're going to do this, and whoever has the highest leaderboard money list on the leaderboard will get to play in a tournament of their choosing, and the other will have to caddy. So funny enough, I for Halloween, my wife, daughter, and I were Masters caddies. Got like the real jumpsuits with the nameplates on the back.
Yeah.
And the company that I bought them from just sent me an email. It said Black Friday sale, early bird code. So if you want to get ahead of that, Dave, you let me know. I can send that over to you.
And this is like an actual like what are they? Do they sell caddy bibs and they're running a promo like, hey, if you need to get a caddy bib, or is it for costumes?
Well, we don't do free ads here, Dave. But if I were to, I would say if you go on Etsy and type in Masters caddy uniform, it will be one of your first choices.
That's how you get sponsors, though. Is you have to start plugging. Okay.
Take it. Okay.
So those are our picks.
Well, hold on. So just say stuff is sponsored by stuff until
Like
say no more.
How I mentioned Cash App, like, it's fine. I don't even know if that's still a thing if people use the Cash App.
Good question. Or
All right, so
Venmo, whoever
those
pays
are
us
our
more.
guys. Case is almost up at $1 million. Dave G, a cool 60 grand. But if you were in our Slack this week, you would have thought that Tiger Woods was playing in this event, but it wasn't Tiger Woods. It was actually a fellow from Aiken, South Carolina, who went to the University of South Carolina. Aiken, which I Googled, is not the same as University of South Carolina. Sounds like Aiken, but his last name is Atkins. It's Matt Atkins. Casey was blowing me up all weekend, sending me this guy. And then before we record today, I'm like, dude, how about Matt Atkins? And he's like, who?
Well, to be clear, I wasn't blowing you up this weekend. I blew you up on
Thursday
because
he Monday qualified. Did he Monday qualify?
Well, there was a great video the tour put out. He Monday qualified. Yep, a real journeyman. It sounds like. And what I pointed out to Dave was a very religious man, and made a comment towards the end like, "This is God's plan." If he, it sounded like he was at a crossroads, whether this guy was going to continue chasing his dream or, if the dream's going to happen or not. And it sounded like he had conversations with his wife about that leading into this week. And he Monday qualifies, but he said, look, it's his plan, meeting the big guy upstairs. It's his plan. If he wants me to, make the weekend and get a paycheck or, send me down a different path. And I said to Dave, this is a tough look for God. If this guy misses the cut, I mean, there's better ways to tell someone that to give up golf than this publicly. But he did make the cut, which you let me know. But what did he end up making, Dave? And this is not about the money at this point. I mean, he's
look for God.
It is. Look, I don't want to put I don't like to call people out on episode 2, but if he had missed the cut and after this guy had said, look, he's going to show me if he wants me to continue chasing,
right?
All
right, so.
It's like I said last week, if no one tunes in from Sweden, I don't know if I'm going to do this again next week, Dave. First thing you said, I got good news.
Thank you, Ludvig. Matt Atkins, so he made the cut. Fantastic. You got to make the cut to make money. He finished T38.
On this tour.
Oh.
Not in Live.
Which is, everything's paid for. Matt Atkins, T38. He shot, he was 12 under. He took home $35,700. Now,
not about that, I'd say. I think you might get maybe a little blocky effect here where you're going to see some sponsorship stuff, maybe more Bible Belt type companies, but there could be.
That's
I
tough.
think he's going to cash in on this more than just the what do you say it was 30,000?
Yeah, but let me do the whole. This is my whole hold on. Let me just get some math up. 35 grand. Let's say he'll keep 60 grand. He'll keep 60% of that after taxes. He's going to be looking at a direct deposit, a wire probably today of $21,000.
What's going to the caddy?
10. Well, he didn't win, so maybe
2,000,
$2,000.
Yeah.
Tough. I hope you're right because
I'm rooting for him. And
look,
I was rooting for him the whole time. It was God who I had my eye on, saying, let's pull through here for this guy.
Yeah. God can be a bitch. So that's tough. I mean, that's the whole crazy thing about golf, right? Which is like, man, and this is like, if you're one of these guys and you had the opportunity to go to Live, like, how do you not go and take the money? Because this guy's like absolutely grinding his face off. Like, it's not like he got into this event and was like going broke and made 35 grand. Like, he was grinding his face a week ago. He had to Monday qualify to even get into this event.
And you saw how he got in?
I did not.
It was like it was the start of the video. It was like a 6-footer that like caught the right edge and curled in, and you could see the look on his face, just like relief. It was
so he's got to do that. He's got to do that to get to make 20 grand. And I'm not poo pooing 20 grand to anybody, but like he's got kids. That's real. But does he get so you're saying like maybe he gets something from here, maybe this becomes a nice story, but like is he going to get more eligibility in tour events because you make a cut? Like, do these things stack in any way?
I'll tell you, based on the interview we were talking about after he Monday qualified, I think the number one thing he's going to get here is a little leeway at home to keep chasing this thing.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe. Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
hope
make
so.
you can make the cut against some of the best players in the world.
Right.
How do you stop is my
Right.
question.
Or
after that.
based on his story, to Monday qualify, get in the event and miss the cut, he could still have gone through all that and not.
And then not to
yeah.
harp on this, but look, you say, "What do you want me to stop?" The big guy upstairs told me, he gave me this sign. I got to keep going. So hopefully a future Grinders Tour pick for one of us.
All right, this week the PGA Tour is off. I was all ready to make picks for this week, and then my co-host here sent me a message and said they skip a week for Thanksgiving, so we'll be back at it making picks next Monday. We'll be making picks for your boy Tiger. He's back. His event in the Bahamas. It's the Hero World Challenge, and we got the news. We were the first to break it here on the Long Game Pod. The cat is back. He's playing.
Tiger should be there. I believe he can ride in a cart in this, right? It's his show. Though it is like a sanctioned event where there's some. It's funny, like Liv can't get world ranking points, but this like week after Thanksgiving, Tiger Woods Bahamas getaway is a sanctioned event. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Does Tiger does it for you?
He does it in so many ways for me. I don't even know what you're asking. Yes. Yes, Tiger does it every way for me. I'd watch that man compete. Like I'm all over the content where he's like caddying for his son. I'm like, oh, he's good strides up that hill.
Yeah,
you. First of all, you spent a good 2 minutes last week praising Patrick Cantlay. So,
like I'm a Cantlay guy.
Choose your words carefully here. Yeah, you even pissed off your dog.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Big Tiger guy. Girl.
Look, it's a guy. Mo.
Guy.
Mo. I don't want to say he doesn't do it for me. Maybe it's because of social media. Like I don't care that much. Like unless he's in contention in of course. Like 2019. Like it's just, and this is the hard part about like if you're in the golf media or something, right? You gotta have stories. The whole Charlie thing is overblown to me. The whole Tiger,
that makes me uncomfortable a little bit.
It makes me uncomfortable. Like imagine if
it's
that
like
was
it's the Deuce Tatum thing. I don't know if you follow.
Yes, I have. I don't watch much. It's like
let this kid grow up before we make him a god.
Totally. I don't even like having my kids publicly on social media, right? And
again, don't approach us at the grocery store. But go ahead.
don't approach us. But like, it just doesn't. Look, I love golf, but I love I'd much rather watch Tiger like hitting balls than being like, oh, he was spotted here, he was doing this thing. Also, I know this is slander on a golf podcast, but like, not a great guy, not a great person. Fantastic golf talent, and I get all that. I'll never forget driving to. This might have been in our intern days when this happened. Was it 2009? Yeah, was 2009 the big was when Tiger's whole car thing happened. I feel like I was driving to work listening to WEEI and like this whole thing broke, and I was like, what, this guy? But I don't know. Since then, it doesn't do it for me. I'm all about I'd love to see him win more majors. I'd love to see him be in more contention. Obviously, the 2019 Masters was insane, but it doesn't do it for me in that way, and I'm sorry.
Sorry, my thing just said lost connection.
Oh, it's okay. We're still here.
Yeah, no, I'm in for everything Tiger. I'm with you. It's obviously more. I'm turbocharged on that when he's contending in a major, but I'm also in it like when he's 2 under at the Masters through 8 on day one.
Yeah, of course.
And the leader's at -6, and I know he's probably gonna You used to follow Tiger Tracker, right?
Yes,
right?
Of course.
So it's just faded for you a little bit.
I think my love and enjoyment of the game of golf has outraced my Tiger in a positive way. Like Tiger is what made golf that way for me, and I love the Tiger Tracker, and it brings me back. But I'm more interested in the overall in the overall game, and as a sport and as a hobby.
Right.
Obviously, what he did was insane. I have his book behind me. I still watch a bunch of his videos and everything. But
yeah, I mean, and on the point, you're right. Not a great guy, from what we hear. But as I always say on stuff like this, I know for a fact, Dave, you've probably danced to Pretty Young Thing at a wedding before, right?
I have. Yes, I
Okay.
have. I actually.
There you go.
Yeah, and
I got I got a 2-part documentary on HBO about Michael Jackson that might change your mind. You know what I mean? Like
this is
everyone's
hard.
yeah.
I was working out this morning. I'm a man of Jewish faith, and I was listening to Kanye West this morning. So like, who am I? Who am I to say? You know, it's tough.
It's a wild time to put your stock in anyone.
Just all right. So Tiger. So watch me get glued to Tiger playing at the Hero.
Oh yeah.
By the way, just while we're talking about it, you mentioned Charlie. Like, what do you think? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and maybe two things are kind of hit me at once here, but we know that his caddy is with Cantlay, right? Who do we know who on the bag, and is it Charlie? Wouldn't that be something? Just like a 1 week Bahamas thing, but. Should I go ahead and break that news right now?
Is that a take? Like, did you make that take up on your own?
Well, I know. So we know he's caddyless, right? Joey LaCava went to Patrick Cantlay, a la the Ryder Cup. Rory McIlroy,
as he should. The better player. He went to the better player.
More charismatic, yeah.
Project Pat.
Squeaky clean, yeah. But yeah, I think. I don't know who's going to be on the bag this week.
No, this is great.
Back. Maybe it's already been announced. I'm not sure. And if you're looking for a podcast that does research before they hit record, you're in the wrong place. But I'm going to guess if it's like a 1 week off, he just needs someone because he's not coming back for a tour event for a while, right? This is his event. He's probably not playing. Maybe the first time would be, I don't know, Augusta, or I don't know if he can even get there. But could it be Charlie Woods?
What about Fluff? What about Fluff? Where's Fluff at?
I don't know if this is the right time for it. I got some fluff stories though.
Of course, I can't mention a person.
I rode in a van with Fluff once. It was one of the best 5 minutes of my life.
You hotboxed a van with Fluff?
No, I wish. I wish. Maybe
all right, so we'll be back. We'll be back next week talking Hero World Challenge. Casey will have the latest on who's on the bag for Tiger. And most importantly, we're also going to bring back this wildly popular segment. Casey had the line about Davis Love if khakis were a sandwich that went viral. 36 views on our Twitter account.
Record numbers this weekend, I heard, down at the Davis Love group.
Imagine.
Record numbers. They turned out some ham and cheese sandwich and I don't know.
The most turkey clubs in a 6 week since
someone completed the Davis Love Challenge, which was eating 2 turkey sandwiches.
But you have to be wearing khakis.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so we'll have a restaurant picked out for next week. But this week there is no tournament. But it made me think of, this podcast is just about us being silly, talking about golf. A memory from my childhood that is a staple of the Thanksgiving week used to be the Skins game. What happened to the Skins game? It's gone. Do you remember growing up watching the Skins game?
Not only that, I had some family out in Palm Springs, California, the Indio area. We go out there every April. Never timed it for that, obviously, but we actually remember one of my earliest rounds I remember ever playing was at Landmark out in near Indio, California, and it was where they had the Skins game for a couple of years. And it's so funny. That was like one of the first, because they used to do it. They do it at night sometimes, or like kind of dusk.
No, I feel like that was the evolution.
Well, they did. Yeah, ABC went on to do those things, and they did like the Annika versus Tiger thing. But I remember watching that. I feel like there was some stuff on primetime, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But it resonated with me so deeply as a kid that it's like that was like the first game I remember playing with my dad when we would play. Like obviously we're paying for like 50 cents or whatever, $1, but like that's like for some reason like that's when I was a 8-year-old playing golf. I'd be like, we're playing skins.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
All right, so the glory time in our lives would be like the high school period. Let's say 2001 to 2000.
I'd love to know who was playing.
Okay, here we go. The 2000. Let's start starting in 2000. 2001 Skins game winner.
You get do you have what is it, a foursome? Do you have the full foursome or just the winner?
There's just the winner.
I gotta say like Fred Couples won like the majority of those.
You're close. The 2001 Skins game winner is no other than Greg Norman.
Ooh.
The runners up that year were Tiger, Jesper Parnevik, and Colin Montgomery.
Wow.
2002 skins game, Mark O'Mara.
Hmm.
2003. Oh, so for your boy Freddie went back to back 03, 04.
Good years for his back.
This Wikipedia page says that Fred Couples was actually given the nickname Mr. Skins because of his dominance in the skins game. He won $4.5 million in 77 skins in 11 appearances. He won 5 of the skins game overall.
Yeah, Google Mr. Skin. You're definitely going to see a lot of Fred Couples stuff.
totally Fred, Mr. Skins. Fred Funk 05, Stephen Ames 06, Stephen Ames again. Oh God, this was such a bad period for golf.
Even if he didn't play, how did Fred Funk beat Tiger Woods at anything in 2005? That's incredible.
Because it was 2007. Tiger was just probably out on the West Coast doing his thing, not really into golf, happened to have a late night. I mean, there's a whole side there. And then the last winner of the skins game was 2008, KJ Choi.
Wow. And that was the last one.
Yeah, this one says the 2009 skins game was originally set for Thanksgiving weekend of 2009. It was canceled in May after LG pulled out of the sponsorship. They said that there was poor television ratings for the event that led to its permanent demise.
I mean, it's true. The problem with all those things is, and the Ryder Cup doesn't have this problem, but at points they do. It's when you get like 4 people on the course, there's a lot of downtime.
Yeah,
and that's a bit of a challenge we talked last week about the virtual league, right? How do you keep that? I guess you don't have to walk so far in between shots, but how do you keep it exciting with just 4 guys, right?
And what's hard is like appealing to the masses with that type of content. Like I actually think like 4 PGA Tour players mic'd up would appeal to like the golf sickos like you and me, where like I actually don't care. Like I don't want the like TNT, Charles Barkley joking around with JT stuff. Like I want to know like what shot did you hit there? What lie did you have? The wind was off the right. Like that type of shit I would eat up.
You want the Greller cam.
Greller cam, I can't get enough of that.
I would
that
pay
type of stuff.
$9.99 a month for the Greller cam.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And then or to see like one guy and his caddy actually never talk, and he just like he just goes up there and just like feathers an 8-iron in there. There's no conversation at all.
Right.
All right. So there's no skins game. That's a bummer. There's kind of like this whole entertainment golf thing, and we're going to talk more about the TGL in a minute. But we thought we would talk about some of the things that we're thankful for. Golf edition. So we each have 3 things in the golf world that we're thankful for. And if you're listening at home, maybe take a minute and think about some of the things you're thankful for. I'm a little worried about mine. I'm worried that I went too real and too serious, and I don't have the access to your notes, and you're going to be electric at this exercise. So I want you to, why don't we go 1 for 1?
Sure.
You go, I go. Tell me the first thing that came to mind that you're thankful for.
And real quick, we should have done this up top, but let me wish you, Dave, and all the listeners a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And say it back.
Happy Thanksgiving, Case.
Okay,
We'll be down in the Massachusetts area. So
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Hit me.
We'll have RSV for you. So for Thanksgiving, things I'm thankful for in the golf world, anything. I think some of the things that you're most thankful for, you don't even realize because they're things that you're used to. But sometimes when those things that you're used to are taken away, they're very evident. And I just want to say, I'm very thankful for Shot Tracer, Dave. Shot Tracer, when you don't have it and you're, especially like, I don't know, somewhere where you get dark skies, you just can't see. What a great invention. You watch these old highlights or some clips on the Golf Channel from the 1994 Wachovia Open, whatever. You get no idea what's going on. They could just be cutting to stock footage of a ball laying on the green. This year, Dave, I'm thankful for Shot Tracer.
That's really good, man. I'm not even blown. That is a great one. It's totally one of those things that you don't think about until you don't have it.
Right.
A good shot tracer is electric. I don't know which broadcast it is, but there are some broadcasts that it's like not on every shot, and I don't understand why.
It seems like there's some issues with, is it like maybe the Open Championship? I think there's something where they share like the world feed, and maybe the world feed doesn't always have it. Or Sky Sports didn't have it. And there are some tournaments where they don't. I think Augusta may have held off for a while, but
Of course they did.
but they
Give
acquiesced.
me a
But
fucking break.
how do you feel about this real quick? I think CBS debuted it. Was it the Ryder Cup or was it the end of last year? Where it was the predictive thing on the green where like on a par 3, as soon as they make contact, they showed a green and they show you where the ball's going to land.
Oh yeah,
It was like
hate
immediate.
Hate
That was a little too much.
No, that's the whole thing about that. That's what's great about golf, and I love that. That's what, like, the shot tracer is just enough to see, to give you a sense, because you know, like, without the shot tracer, don't you feel like for some reason it's the way that it's filmed? Doesn't it look like every shot on TV is going like way right? Or like it looks like it comes off the face way right, and it's like this beautiful high draw. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Go watch like a Tiger highlight hitting like a big like draw with like a 3-wood from like 1996. You're like, that went directly right. There's no way that's near the green.
Yeah.
And it is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Shot tracer is a good one.
Yeah.
Also, you've dabbled on there's apps now where you can do your own shot tracer.
Yeah, those are a little, I mean, maybe there's some more expensive ones that are a little more accurate, but I mean, I could with the ones we have now, you could slice one out of bounds and make it look like it went right.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments on like good and some the golf Instagram. Like those guys just get destroyed in the comments. They're all so good. They're all such good players.
That'd be a hilarious one of those. You know, the people that are like, "Here's my round," and it's in like 5 minutes is every shot. They're just like sped up, but the person's just like wherever they're hitting it, the shot shaper's just like striped right down the middle.
You ever seen that guy Mac Butcher? He's a lefty and he just hits these like ridiculous slingers. Like people hate him so much. They post like the meanest things. It's like, how many takes did that take? It's like, who cares? All right. So mine is actually semi-related to this because there's the same technology involved, but I'm thankful for TrackMan. And this is something that until about a year ago, I had absolutely no experience with. And there's a couple, so TrackMan, I want to do like a whole segment. I'm sure somebody's done it, but the whole segment in general, and just like how unbelievable the technology is. I don't know if it was Israeli people or someone else, but it was originally some former military person who had experience like tracking missiles.
Yep.
Is what they use to create the radar system for TrackMan. I love it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's made golf an all year round sport for me. So there's a place that I can go locally where I can hit balls indoors. And I used to think, I don't want to hit balls indoors. Hitting into a net is not fun. TrackMan is literally like playing like the best video game ever. There's hundreds of courses you can play. It's very real, better data than you get out on the course. So it's made it so I don't just pick up a golf club for the first time in April. I could hang up right now and go play 18 holes down at the simulator. It's awesome. It's also helped me learn that there's like a right way to swing a golf club. And I played golf for 20 years in my whole life and had no insight into the mechanics and the fundamentals. And I had taken a bunch of lessons in the past, but nothing ever really stuck with me until I got lessons and it was on a TrackMan, because then someone could say like, hey, moron, you're wrong. You see this thing that you're doing? Like your swing direction is minus 10 degrees left. Yep. So you're going to create a cut, and look at how much spin there is. You're probably a really bad player in the wind. And I'm like, yes, I'm terrible in the wind. I can't play. Well, here's why. So, I think back to what we said earlier, this is one of the things I think bigger than the ball and the clubs is TrackMan has had the impact that TrackMan has had on the game of golf.
Do you think if you didn't have that access to that indoor facility that you spend, would you look into getting a TrackMan or building a little space for yourself at home? Like, or would you travel? Like, how would you travel far to go to that? Like, it seems like a big important part of your game. So if you moved or something, you were still cold weather.
Yeah. It's tough. So right now in the house that we're in now, I couldn't, because the highest ceilings that we have, unless I put it in our master bedroom, which probably
would that be
not
an
going to
issue?
work. I don't have the space for it. I think if I had a huge house and I had space, then yes, but it's also, it's not accessible for everybody, right? Like, am I going to just write off 50 grand and go buy a TrackMan? That's a big ask.
That's the thing. It's these things have got to start coming down at some point, right?
Yeah. Yes, but I've also hit balls on other, they make there's some stuff like you can get there's some other ones that are like $299 and they're more affordable.
In that world, if you're not accurate, it's worthless, right?
Yes. They can give you can get like okay data, but it's very like I actually have a $200 launch monitor that I keep in my bag, and it just gives you distances, and that's awesome for outdoors in the range.
Yeah.
for like, distance control and stuff and swing speed. But yeah, you don't get any of the, for me with the TrackMan, it's not about the club distances. That's pretty easy to get now. It's about the swing path and the swing plane and the direction and the mechanics. And so I would say I would probably find myself driving to go there. And
Yeah. The reason I ask is because if you don't live in the Northeast or somewhere cold, I don't think you'd think about it a lot. Like growing up, we didn't have those kind of places. How long was your season? Like 4 or 5 months? And like, how many times I got like a club I like really wanted for Christmas, and it's like great, and it's like what am I gonna? I'm just stare at this thing for like 4.5 months. Then you get to warm weather. The last thing you want to do is practice. You want to get out there and just go.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked about like, would you get one, or would you look like how far would you travel for one? Because I think it's that. I haven't had a lot of experience on that, but I think if I did, it's that instant feedback that would help me most, because you can feel the right way and the wrong way to do things, and that's so much more important than someone telling you how to hinge something at the top of your swing.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a lot of this stuff for me now is like is chicken and the egg. Like we happen to move to Vermont, and I happen to live 1 mile away from a golf course. And
I don't believe that, but yeah, sure. Like, look at this beautiful house. Like you hear like in the background.
We happen to
piping drives,
and then a guy that I start getting lessons from happens to open an indoor facility 9 minutes away from my house in like an area. And what's great about it is that it's not like out in the middle of nowhere. It's in like a plaza, right? It's like where you might go for other errands and stuff. And so I got to go out and get lunch, or I got to go to the doctor or whatever. I got to go out anyway. So I think a lot of this has kind of like fueled my golf hobby now, but those things have definitely helped. But I used to roll my eyes at like hitting balls indoors or the simulator. I couldn't live without it. It's super fun. I'm all hot and bothered. I want to go there right now. All right.
Yeah, we got to get those things down. Like my next door neighbor, I remember for growing up for Hanukkah, got a CD burner. It was like $2,500. And now computers don't even have CD burners anymore, right? So like, it's that technology has got to come down, right?
I remember getting the first MP3 player I got. It could hold like 8 songs.
Yep. The memory card was like, it's like 64 gigabytes for $1 billion.
So, I mean, you got to get it down, but also I think there are more places like this popping up. And so instead of owning a TrackMan, you could join a place like this and for $200 a month have unlimited access. It's like a new gym membership, right?
Yeah. Love it.
All right, what's next on your list?
All right, I'll go quick on this one because I don't think it's for everyone legally, really, but gambling. We in Massachusetts here, we got gambling legalized probably 2 or 3 weeks before March Madness this year. But just being able to bet on golf is so much fun. Like not just like who to picking winners, but you can do a lot of different stuff. You can bet on individual holes. Before the Grinders Tour, sometimes there wasn't much for me to root for watching the RSV Classic, but when you get a little skin in the game, it's fun. So I'm thankful this year for legalized gambling, which I like to do on golf.
And so what do you typically? Will you just bet anything, or you're like, I want a reason? Is it like I want a reason to pay attention to the golf, or is it like I'm betting Rory to win the Masters, which is never going to happen? Sorry, but
yeah, I've lost some money on that over the years. Yeah, I like to do it. Like I love first round bet, like on like a Wednesday night. Be like, I love datagolf.com. Shout out datagolf.com. I don't know if you've ever perused there, but just like digging into the statistics and course history and strokes gained and momentum, and you can it's fun. You try to pick like this guy, might get out to a good start, and you can hedge that. So I do everything from like first round leader to obviously whoever wins the tournament. To they do pods a lot of time. There's like, here's 6 people who's going to be the best out of this pod, so you can kind of create some odds against some. I try to stay away from Cantlay because the only thing worse than seeing him do well is to lose money on that. But yeah, it's fun. You don't have that up in Vermont yet, though, right?
We don't. I'm not really into gambling, though. I don't
see that as a Vermont priority.
No, Bernie would not be a fan of that.
No.
All right,
though he can ball. He's
He
just
can
not
ball.
betting on it.
Yeah, he can ball. All right, so you got gambling. I'm gonna give you a thing that I'm thankful for is walking. I'm a big walker. Walk, just the ability to walk.
Yeah, you're just making me look bad to my wife. Oh, Dave went with walk. You said gambling. Let's split those up, okay?
No, I don't know. Gambling, like, look, I loved actually sports gambling. I love sports gambling more so when I was in college, and it'd be like you bet $10 to win $5,000 on a 60 team parlay. Like
Yeah, I tell you, Dave, there's a lot of stuff I like in college. I still like. One day
Me
I'll
too.
grow up, though.
Me too. There's some things, yeah, but no, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Gotcha.
I don't know why. But I like walking. I like vegetables.
Tell me more about this walking.
No, I think I love to walk when I play golf, and I feel like I don't play great when it's a situation where I'm forced to ride as somebody. I just like I don't get in a rhythm. You get paired, you're in a cart with somebody maybe you didn't want to ride with that person. I love the like the hit a shot, good or bad, get out and walk. I love the rhythm of it. I like when you have a good group. You got a good group of 4 people that you're playing golf. I love the kind of ebbs and flows. Like I'm not going to grill you on the first hole, Casey, about your job, but like over the course of the round, you're kind of like standing on the 8th tee and you're like, hey, so how's that thing going? And I love it socially. It's just like, and I think this is what when people see golf, they don't often see this, but like you're outdoors for 5 hours. You are carrying a 20-pound pack on your back, and you're walking for 6 to 8 miles a day. And yet you go play golf and you go home and your spouse or your wife or whoever is like, come on, let's go. You just played golf all day. I'm like, I just went for an 8-mile hike with a 20-pound bag on my back.
Yeah, that's the part I want to clip for my wife. That's the part where you just read up those stats, because I've said that too. Yeah, like I always say to her, like I at some point I want to take you. I'm going to give you a 50-pound bag, and we're going to hike around 6.5, 7.5 miles of undulating terrain in the heat of the beating down you. The sun's beating down you, and swinging's not easy either, Dave. But yeah, I'm with you. I say this to a lot of people who are newer to the game, and usually those are folks that, for a variety of reasons, are more the cart golfers. Cart golf and walking are 2 different sports. There's a reason why, like the scrambles and that stuff is cart golf, right? It's not, and like competition really is walking. There's something about the pace of it, the time in between shots, the rhythm. I find the rhythm when I'm driving in a cart, I'm like, hurry up and get there, right? And when I'm walking, I just find like my body's more at ease, and like I'm not rushing as much because it's just, you and the ground. So
my least favorite thing about taking a cart is just like not being able to go to my ball. Like I hit mine way right. You hit yours way left. We're going to drive over to see if we can find yours. Then we're going to drive over to see if we can find mine. It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Dave. A lot of that comes from you're not far right. You're down the middle, and you're with someone that's having to go find one to the left. And if you're a good golfer, and I'm not necessarily putting myself in that category really, but playing with people that stripe it, you can almost feel it. On the 7th hole when the 6th straight time we've been looking for a ball, and you're not anywhere near your ball. So I see
have
that
the self-awareness. The self-awareness to be like, this is where education needs to happen. This is you don't need to play this hole, Charlie. Like you just made 6 9s in a row. Just pick up. But also walking. I play with this group of guys regularly on a Wednesday, and everyone's a pretty good player. Right. The pace is amazing because like I can walk, and you're plenty good. This is like I can walk 20 yards like diagonally to you and not worry about my life. Yeah. And that helps keep the pace of play up so much when everyone's kind of like hit and walk. Yeah. It's like when everyone has to be far back of that one person who's like the limiting factor for everybody else's pace in the group. Yeah. That's where like the thing breaks for me.
I don't know if you found this too. And I think it has to do with this a little bit, but I've definitely found it both ways where and this is all walking, if I'm playing with someone who's better, like who's a significantly better golfer than me, especially like a ball striker, I find myself like I hit the ball better, right? And if I'm playing with someone who is not really a great golfer, I find myself more often playing worse than I normally do. Do you find that?
Yeah, of course. I do, for sure I do. I mean, I think it's one of the, outside of getting instruction, I think one of the things that's made the biggest difference in my golf game is being here. And I happen to become friends with this guy who, I moved to Vermont. I need help with my business. He's an accountant. I find him through the place I play golf at. He's a scratch golfer. We become friends.
Yeah.
Come April, he's like, hey, can you play during the week? We have a spot open in our regular game. And now all of a sudden, as a 6-7 handicap, I'm playing golf every Wednesday morning with 3 guys who are zeros.
Yeah.
And it's like that rubs off on you. Like,
It's in a weird way, it's kind of like that older brother thing. It's like the younger brother that's been playing with this older brother forever is going to be better, right? Like you being around better golfers, and just observing like the things they do, not even picking their brain, just observing the way they course manage, to, for an example. Like,
and so much of it is mental. And I do believe that your brain and your subconscious takes over in so many ways. And so if you're playing with guys, if you're playing with a group and everyone's got the shanks or they can't hit the ball in the air, your brain is going to revert back to that somehow.
Yeah.
And subconsciously you're going to start whacking it all over the place. All right. So we got, mine are great. Healthy, drink water, vegetables, walking. You got gambling. What's your third?
my third is volunteering.
Yeah, this is great. It's perfect.
No,
Thank you.
I needed to get something like that in there. No, another kind of random one, but something that I don't think about a lot. But when I do think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's a big part of my golf life. Is and I believe maybe you follow them on Instagram, but Zyre Golf. Dave, do you follow Zyre Golf on Instagram?
Of course, yeah, I've heard of Zyre Golf. Yeah.
I don't know why and how, but like, and I don't follow I'm not one of these people that follow like a million different things. Like, I'm very selective. I don't know when, but like that's like the only source of golf, like not news, but like viral stuff. It's all them.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe I'll see it on Barstool or other ones after, but for some reason it's all, and I'm sure it's an algorithm thing, but shout out to the guys from Zyre Golf who keep me informed and show me all the half the funny shit I bring up on here.
So sorry, if I'm hearing you correctly, is the thing that you're thankful for is Zyre Golf?
If I knew more about them, I could specifically tell you, but it's I'm not thankful for like the digital like handle. Whoever's behind that, I'm just gonna say shout out to those guys or girls or people or AI.
No, it's great. I mean, however they've done it, it's like my brain like kind of goes to like the marketing and content side of things. Like, so much of content creation is just, and you have this, and this is why I wanted to like align myself with you and do a podcast with you. But some people just have it when it comes to like picking what stuff is funny and what stuff is going to land. And like whoever is responsible for picking their content, it just lands so perfectly with golfers.
It's a curation. But that's the thing. It's like, so I see the stuff there and then I see it a million other places. Yeah. And again, maybe that's just the algorithm.
Right. And who knows? Yeah. And who knows? And also like there's stuff that their page is so big and popular now. Like there's stuff that they just kind of like reuse the same stuff. But
yeah, totally.
The content that I can't get enough of is the like, we got paired with this guy content.
Yeah. But I tell you, my bullshit detector goes straight up. Of course.
So
some of this stuff is ridiculous. And why wouldn't you do that and get a viral video out of your stupid buddy, like, playing without pants or something? But I'm like, oh, look at this guy we got paired up with. Some of them are real. Some of the waggling ones, I'm like, there's no way.
Right. Or there's just like stuff where like, there's a text message, like, someone sends like a text message to their wife and their wife tries to send some like, naughty, flirty text back, but it's actually golf. Like, I don't believe any of that shit.
No. Or the like, this guy's wife showed up to the golf course. It's like, no, they fucking didn't. Like, or my favorite one and I always look at the comments and like, I'm like, I can't believe people are just eating this up like it's real. Yeah. There's one of like, a woman driving a cart. Her husband must be in the cart in front, which doesn't make any sense, right? There's like just two people have two separate carts. But she's like holding the bag on top of the cart. Have you seen that one? He's like, honey, no. It's like, there's no way that's real. Yeah. Who is positioned 50 yards back in the fairway recording that?
No, there's no way. There's
the one that's real though is that dude that took his shirt off. You see that one recently?
Yeah.
He says, you want to see heaven?
You want to see heaven?
What a line.
There's so many. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about Zyre Golf.
So I'm thankful for that. What did I say? That you want to see heaven, shirtless guy? What did I say? Oh, Zyre Golf. Sorry, shout out Zyre Golf.
Zyre Golf and gambling, just the complete degenerate
And shot tracer. There's a lot of technology in
Shot
it.
tracer's classic.
And volunteering was in there somewhere, I think.
Volunteering was in there somewhere.
Volunteering my time to go through Zyre Golf.
I can't even focus right now because I'm just scrolling through ridiculous Zyre Golf. Like there's the clip of Ric Flair, the one friend on the boys golf, the one friend on the golf trip, and this is the Ric Flair where he's talking about like how many drinks he had before he got on his flight. It's just it's constant.
I don't know. I have to bring this up because anytime I think of it, I have to say it, and this could be its own segment. But my favorite all-time golf video. I don't think a lot of people have seen it. I think I'm responsible for sending it to 50% of the people. But have you ever seen? I don't even know the backstory of the woman. It's like a pro-am from like the early 90s, and she's on the tee and she just stripes one like directly left into the crowd, and then she re-tees and does it again. Have you ever seen this?
No, you gotta send it to me.
Oh man, I think we might have to spend an episode on that at some point. But
There's a clip for you.
People out there know what I'm talking about there, and someone in the crowd, and they caption it in the video, just says, "Make her cut it out." Like she's a danger to the entire course. It's one of the all-time great. And the woman's like, she keeps shrugging. It's like, why are you firing these balls at these people? We'll put it on the page. I'm sure there's a million people who have heard, who have seen it, and definitely not a million people listening right now. So.
What's the Clemson head coach name? Dabo Sweeney. He sprints out of the tunnel and says, when you forgot your wedge on the previous hole and have to run back. Like
this is our new segment where we just watch Instagram videos and tell you what they are.
Everyone listening is the 52 Swedes that listen to this are going to like it. All right. My last one, like I said, mine are all going to be too serious to do this, is finding a good instructor. And this turns out we all have egos. We think we know everything. And it's like anything in life, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, whether like it's like the same thing. Like you want to get in better shape, like you could do workouts at home, that's great, but like hiring a personal trainer and being accountable and having to show up, biggest thing for me is actually getting golf instruction. And I went in this hole where I'm like trying to do it myself on YouTube, going to somebody that you can see regularly, that knows you, that knows their shit, that actually can coach you, is like that's the best ROI that I've spent ever on golf. And it's made a huge difference. And honestly, it's the reason I enjoy golf so much now is because I see how to get better. I see that I'm getting better. Obviously, golf is still so maddening, and I could go shoot 100 on any given day. Right. But having some instruction has made a huge difference in my enjoyment.
On any day, you shoot 100 on any day?
No.
Because you know my claim to fame, right?
77 or 100.
I shot a 77 and 100 in the same week. And
I had one.
No one has range like that.
I did have one. I did have one tournament this year though that I shot a 46 on the front, and it was it was like double every hole, double, triple, double, and it was a tournament where like I had to post a score. Like everyone was gonna see that, and I was like, and I literally couldn't hit the ball in the air, and I made the turn, and I was like, I'm so close to like I really don't care. Like why does this matter? I'm just gonna go in my car and go home and just like withdraw. And I shot 36 on the back, 46, 36. And so that was actually a big moment for me this year where like, I think in the past that would have been 46, 48 and just like want to quit golf. But it was like, all right, we got this back together in the realm of like respectability.
Yeah, no. And I think that's good for you. It's like if you drove through like a really rough neighborhood, it'd be like, things are worse, Dave, out there. So for a good golfer like you to have a bad day, I think it's some perspective. So yeah, that's what you take away from it. And by the way, that is my claim to fame, especially this course I play a lot in the summer up in Maine. The 50-36-86. That's the Casey Ford. 50-36-86.
All right, we're gonna at some point we're not gonna have the time for today, but we're gonna talk more about. I want to hear more about what it like. How do you shoot 50-36? Let's skip over that stuff for today. Do you want to hit on what part of the news is relevant for us to hit on this week?
Well, I think the virtual league, the roof collapsing is pretty big, and that might delay things, right? So I feel like momentum was just starting to build for that, and maybe all news is good news, but yeah, it looks like they're going to be set back a little bit at their facility in Florida, huh?
It's tough because a lot of these there's all these things that keep happening in the world of golf, and they all kind of seem like half baked. Whether it was Live, whether it was this thing, and I don't know if this is like just a coincidence or not. I'm not an architect or designer, but it kind of just looked like a tent.
Yeah, They're like, the power system failed. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, my roof's not coming down if the power system
Yeah.
fails. But this is an architecture podcast.
So that's supposed to be starting in January. It doesn't seem like that's going to be happening.
But nothing else was damaged. So it looked like one of those retractable roof type things. Like
Okay,
a tent.
so you just have to rebuild the whole thing, but nothing was damaged. You put in this great clip this week of Victor Hovland.
Oh yeah, that crazy shot he had from what, the bridge?
Yeah.
It made me think, like, what's the craziest shot you've ever had? Like, what's the craziest lie, or have you ever had like a bridge shot like that? I guess it'd have to be almost in like a competition, because I feel like you wouldn't want to ruin your club on like a Wednesday, right?
This is kind of what I put in here, but I don't have a specific one that I can remember. But an old roommate of mine, one time we heard Phil talk about how when his ball was on the cart path, he often never took a drop because it was a perfect lie. Like, and that's the most Phil thing to ever say about your ball being on the cart path. But so anytime I'm on the cart path now, I'll send him a picture and say perfect lie. But I was going to ask you, like, what's your threshold for club damage? Like, I guess if you're playing in a tournament where you got to hold the ball out, like, you're going to go for it. But like just last week, I'm in the desert and I'm on the rocks and I'm like, like they don't need my score on this hole. Like, am I really going to try to roast a 5-iron and like break my wrist and hit something off a rock here? Probably not.
Yeah, I generally, I'm not hitting off of, something like that. Like, obviously cart path, you're gonna take a drop, but like a tree root or something like that. I will say, I put in a member guest a while ago, and I was just trying to think, would I ever have a shot from a weird lie? I hit a shot, I drive so far right, it went 2 fairways to the right and landed on like the 10th green, and I was on like the 15th tee box, and it was in a tournament, and the people who were playing were like, you got to play that, and I'm like, I'm not hitting like a 180-yard shot back to the fairway off in like this big tournament where these greenkeepers are up for like, weeks trying to get the course immaculate. I'm not hitting a long iron from here. And they went and got like the rules people came out, and the greenkeeper's like, yeah, you're not fucking doing that. I don't even know what the rule was. He's like, yeah, no, drop it over there.
Wait,
I'm like, thank you.
Isn't there a rule though? Like, isn't there like usually like a local rule where like you just get a drop near the hole? And
in a member guest where like, this isn't the PGA Tour. It's like they radio that guy. He's like having lunch, so it's going to take him 20 minutes to get over there. So it like held up everything. I'm like, guys, I just don't want to. Like, it wasn't like any advantage really. Like, I wanted to go in longer grass. It's just no, but never from something like that. I'm trying to think even back in high school where in competition, not really, but in high school I'd probably hit off of anything. I'm being an idiot.
Oh yeah, like in high school, you'd be 2 down in your match on the 6th hole and like take off your pants and go in the creek just because.
Yeah, well, speak for yourself, but yeah,
I was definitely in the creek. And then you posted that. So the folks from the DP World Tour posted.
Yeah, do you see this?
I didn't see it until you posted. It's fantastic. Though.
Yeah, they did some kind of version of Keepy Uppy, this hugely coordinated viral video, but it really just made me think the DP World Tour, and really. Obviously before that, formerly the European Tour, for years and years, as long as I can remember, have just eaten the tour's lunch for content. And like, I remember before there was even like really YouTube golf, right? Some of the first videos I saw on YouTube were like of the European Tour doing these like really cool ideas, like the fastest hole, or the one club challenge, or they did this one thing years ago where they had a guy just kind of set up. I forget the name of the tour member, but he just sat up on a par 3 all day and was like, how many shots until you get a hole in one, right? Like, this really cool kind of creative, that kind of stuff. And
wasn't Tyrrell Hatton like hitting balls off like a runway or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with like the DP World Tour is they're going all over the world, and they're in different markets where they're doing a lot of activation. So you get those like Dubai, like, I don't know, there's a lot of sponsorship stuff where they activate it with some crazy like Ricky's gonna hit the straightest drive down the middle of a highway or whatever, but still, like, that they were way ahead of their time in terms of all that kind of stuff. And I'm just curious, like, who was at the head of that, because someone had some good taste.
What stood out to me is that one of the guys who was juggling, I play golf right-handed, but I juggle with my left hand. And there was one guy, I've never seen anybody do that, and he was juggling with his left hand. So that's
really?
once I saw that.
Why do you juggle? Just period.
Like, I don't know. You've never done that? Get out
I
of
have,
here.
but you made it sound like
Juggle. Isn't that what it's called?
when I'm golfing, I'm swinging righty. When I'm juggling, I'm juggling
No,
lefty.
when I'm playing keepy uppy.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And then you wanted, and then look at
last
this.
thing.
Scotty, what does this say? So does this say Scotty Scheffler absolutely works over the world #1 pickleball player?
Yeah, and to be fair to whoever that guy is, this was a 15-second clip. It wasn't the whole match, but there's a video going around of Scotty in some kind of pickleball pro-am just working this guy over in a rally. He's supposed to be the #1 pickleball player in the world. You can't have someone from a different sport making you look like that if you're going to have any kind of sport that's trying to be taken seriously. I know pickleball is not trying to be, the most prestigious thing, but
Right.
In some pockets of Florida, it is.
It is. Oh yeah, for sure. Pickleball is huge, but also that wouldn't have happened in ping. Like if you got the best ping pong player in the world, Scotty Scheffler wouldn't hold a candle to that.
You think anyone's beating Tiger in anything?
No.
Do
you think there's some correlation though between is Scotty just a gifted hand-eye coordinate? Like, is there any connection between him being so good at golf and good at pickleball?
Maybe it's like the Florida thing, but it seems like of all the professional athletes that I've seen cross over playing pickleball for one reason or the other, it's 95% golfers. It's like Spieth or I don't know. So either there's a lot of pickleball courts at country clubs, which I'm sure there are, or you're right, there's a big hand-eye coordination thing there. I'm sure ping pong is the same thing.
All right, let's flip over to, is that in play or out of bounds, aka our version of buy or sell. I got some stuff that I want to save because I want to spend more time on it with you at some point. But I'm going to actually give you a short one, and then you can give me one.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you something. Is this in play or out of bounds? I hate the end of the round, take off the hat, shake the hand. Hate it. I'll fist bump. I would go fist bump every time.
Are you talking competition, or are you talking just any round?
Any. You, me, your dad, and your friend, we go play.
You just want to walk off and never speak to them again? Just go right to the cars?
I
don't hate that.
It's not that. It's just I don't feel the need to touch you right now. I know how gross I am after playing 18, and I'm not even a big germ guy. I love RSV, right? There's just something about, and then if you watch these guys on television, this is what happens. I'm a bald man, so I don't have that issue, but they take off the hat. John Rahm puts his hand through his hair, and then, which is nasty, he's been 4.5 hours sweating his tits off out there. He sticks his hand out to then go shake your hand. I don't need that. Good playing you the case. Fist bump. Great to see you, buddy. I'll give you a hug. Fist bump, whatever. And then on the other thing, the hat, taking the hat off, give me a break. You are in such debt. You owe so much. It's a sign of respect. And I have one person say, "Hey man, take your at the end. What is this? This is some formal. You don't have to take off your hat." So I give you a fist bump and I tell you it's great to play with you, and that's what you're going to get from me. Is that in play or out of bounds?
I think you're OB here, Dave.
Wow.
I've never perceived the hat leave on as a slight, but I will now that I know you're doing it intentionally. I think we've talked about this before, where there's something about when you play around with someone, there could be someone I've never met before, just met them, and by the end of it, we're brothers for life because we played 18 holes together, right? You can create connections that way. And I don't care if you want the hug, or the high five. I'm with you. I'm a fist pump guy. I don't need to get in there. You got to take the hat off, Dave. It's just tradition, and it's a principle thing at this point. It doesn't mean anything. It's the lack of it happening which means something. And
that's fair.
You can't say it's not intentional because you just said you do it on purpose. So
I'm willing to accept the consequences.
Okay.
That's fair. Imagine being I really like that guy Dave, but I can't play with him again because he didn't take his hat off.
All right. I'm gonna out myself here. I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna ask you, and then I'll get into it. But in any situation, inbounds or OB, iron covers.
You're gonna out yourself. So you're an iron covered.
I'm just answer the question. Answer the question.
In any situation,
is it okay to own iron covers?
No, it's not okay.
Okay.
I
Let me
just
make the
can't.
case.
I can't think of a purpose. I cannot think of a purpose that they serve. These are literally clubs that you're swinging into the earth, which is
Correct.
filled with rocks and grain and
Correct. So about a year and a half ago, I got fitted for clubs. First time ever. Was not cheap.
I don't like where this is going.
Okay. Booked a trip. And no, there was no disaster. We booked a trip down to Pinehurst, and I got some shit for having some iron covers in my bag. And here's the thing. I'm shipping brand new clubs I paid a significant amount of money for and waited a long time for. And I'm putting those clubs in JetBlue's hands and in a golf bag I'm not totally confident in is up for the task. I'm not one of these guys that are taking the driver head off. But I bought some iron covers to put on the brand new irons to ship just in case anything happened in transit. I got a lot of shit for having them, and I made the point. Look, these aren't going in the bag. They're just it's the same way. If I put bubble wrap on them, would you make fun of me? But I still get made fun of for owning and having purchased iron covers.
Okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that in that context. But
Do you hear that, everyone?
How did you get? No, I have a. You said something that I didn't like, but I'll get there in a second.
Right.
How did you get out? Were you at the hotel room and you unzipped your bag and you took your bag out and everyone saw all the iron?
We were
covers
late. We got a couple delays getting down there, and we barely made our tea time. We were playing the day we flew down, and
you kept them on.
We had to.
Oh my God.
The staff there was just open up everything here because everyone had not just their bag in there, but all the shit they packed too.
When you travel with your golf bag, you obviously put 16 things in there.
And when you're me, you have 1,000 props for some reason. So I'm going through boas and stuff. No, I'm kidding. But when they were just yard sale here, everyone pull up their clubs, pack everything else away. We'll take the stuff back to the hotel, or load them in the bus, whatever, and take your clubs out. But I had to do not just excavate this thing from my mountain that I packed, but then take the bag out, remove all the covers, and I was outed.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think what you went through is fine.
In their defense, it probably does sound like a great excuse. But I'm not hiding. You could look at any TV coverage of me playing golf, Dave. There's no iron covers on when I'm playing. There's also no TV coverage of me playing golf.
From a play, if you were about to say to me I have them on and you hit your 7-iron and you scrape it with a brush and you put the cover back on and you put the club back in your bag.
Though I will say that guy on tour that does that, I think, Aaron Rye, had that thing where someone asked him about it and he's like, well, we had no money growing up. My dad sold a bunch of stuff just to get this thing. And I was like, I value these more than anything. So I'm going to take a lot of care. It was I'm not going to ever make fun of that guy for that. Or if he wants to ship some clubs down to Pinehurst, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah. I mean, he could probably get new clubs from his sponsor if he dinged one up. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with what you said about the driver head, though. I don't put iron covers on my clubs, but I do unscrew. I did when I just went to Vegas. I unscrewed the driver head. I unscrewed the 3-wood head because that's the one that towards the end of the bag, that's where something that would happen.
I'm saying, oh man, because this isn't good for me because I've been on the other side of this debate for a while. And the guy that called you Giver your heart is on your side. So there you go.
Yeah,
you can't spell your name.
And I didn't do anything crazy. I just unscrewed them and I put them in the head covers and I put the shafts in the bag.
When I got the ship sticks instructions, they're remove the head from your. I'm I just got this thing. I just got fitted for it. I waited 4 months for it. I've never even swung it. I'm not taking a screwdriver to it. Fair or not fair?
I don't love that I found this detail out, but
trust me, there's way worse than that.
I'm okay that it happened. I'm more just I can't not picture you and the props. What God knows what was in your travel bag when you got to Pinehurst.
I have no idea. You have no idea.
700 of those
that will be my unboxing. We'll start a YouTube
Crenshaw
channel.
koozies.
Yep, exactly, and everything they own in the pro shop.
All right, we have a make the case this week. Why don't we wrap up with a make the case? And by the way, I want to get for the 48 of you that listen to this, I do want to email us longgamepod. That's longgamepod@gmail.com. If you have things that you think we want to hear this is our version of buy or sell in player OB. We got lots of them.
I had someone. Yeah, real quick. I had someone reach out last week and tell me they could provide a written review of the Davis Love Grill from experience. this isn't one of those reviews where you've never actually been there that we like to give out. So
All right, so email us that review. Email us the written review of the Davis Love Grill, and we will review it on the pod. All right, Case, tell us about Make the Case, and we'll wrap up with this segment.
Dave asked me to make a segment where I just come up with I pitch some weird ideas or things I think you should get into.
Hold on, no. You
Okay,
said
so
I
anyway,
have
moving on.
weird. You said I have lots
Dave
of weird
plead-
ideas.
Dave pleaded with me. He wrote me. He called me every day for about a month, saying, "When are you going to do this?" So, and my name is Casey, so that's the pun. Get it? Make the case. You get it? All right. So, each week I'll try to have a new one of these for you, Dave. But the first one is one that I've been thinking about for a very long time. I'm a huge music fan. I've probably been to maybe 200 or 300 concerts in my life. I'm a huge live sports fan. I go to basketball games, football. I love live sports, live concerts. I'm also a bigger guy. I'm 6'3". On any given day, I'm in the 210, 215 range. You see a lot of stadiums that have these family sections or alcohol-free sections, right? Different kind of, just the idea of having different places in stadiums that have kind of thematic elements that are aimed towards making everyone in that section comfortable, right? Dave, why don't we have tall people sections at concerts or sporting venues?
I love it. I couldn't be more for this.
It's not for me. It's not for me, right? Like,
no, it's not for you. This is not for you. This is to put the people of your kind into one section.
My people.
I'm 5'8". What do I have to say? What do I have to say about,
But look, I wish I was that kind of person that is at a concert blocking everyone's view and I'm just like having a good time and I don't think about it. All I think about is that I'm at a Celtics.
That's tough. I'm
at a Celtics game and like there's a fast break or like say there's a hockey game or breakaway. Everyone the first guy stands up in the first row. Everyone, that wave kind of comes it back towards you. I'm the guy that's like sitting on my seat that's up, like crouching so that I'm not blocking the people behind me. Enough's enough. Give me a place where I can be with my people and not have to worry about ruining other people's nights. We need tall people sections at concerts.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I actually went to an event with my kids a couple weeks ago. One of these like Bluey Live like type of things in like an auditorium. We split up. We didn't have the 4 seats together, whatever. I'm sitting with my daughter. My wife is sitting with my son. Directly in front of my daughter sits a 6'8" just tree pole. And I'm like, what do we do here? What do we do here? She can't see. This is the whole experience. And now I'm trying to maneuver her around. So I think this is a great idea. I think this would be a great idea.
All right, thank you. So that was.
Do you think some people would be offended? Do you think short people would be offended by this? Why did they get an area?
Yeah, so you can see. That's the answer. I don't mean you, Dave. I'm talking about that person. But yeah, that'd be my response. It's for you. It's for that person that can't see. Again, it's not. I'm seeing either way, right? Like maybe there's an issue where we're concentrating too many of these people, and now the tall people are blocking the tall people. But we're going to do something where we rank everyone by height within the tall section, and then those are the first section, and then kind of stadium sitting beyond there. So I think it's something that we should explore. I think you're bringing up something I haven't explored too much yet, which is people not wanting to be outed as not tall, which I think is pretty easy to identify based on my experience. But I think some people who have a complex, it's a little harder.
Like, yeah, I was dating this guy, and he made me sit in the not. He asked to sit in the not tall section, and that's when I knew that he wasn't the one.
Yeah, he invited me, but we just sat separately. Yeah, that'd be funny. All right, so
Case.
So that was Make the Case. That's brought to you by Simply Safe. Simply Safe, great protection, fair prices, easy to use. Simply Safe is the right way to protect your home. Call 1-888-910-1215 and tell them Dave Gearhart sent you for 15% off. That's simplysafe.com.
Do we need to
did I do it right?
Yeah, you did it great.
Until you make it?
But also, do we need to have that like crazy like DraftKings? Like, if you are addicted to gambling, please call. Because
I just wanted to use promo code Dave Gearhart.
It's pretty good,
Awesome.
Dave, and that's GERHEEE.
Honestly, they don't care as long as you make an effort; they'll give it to you.
Yeah, and stamps.com. Don't forget stamps.com. All right, episode 2 of Long Game Pod. We're out of here. We covered a lot. If you're listening to this, do me a favor. Whether you have a comment, anything, just to say hello, email us, please, for the love of the same God that is watching over Matt Atkins. Email longgamepod@gmail.com. Longgamepod@gmail.com. Send us your feedback, your questions, your ideas, what's in play or out of bounds, or let us know if you're also a tall person and you support Casey's message to have tall people seating in a stadium near you. Case, I hope you and the family get over RSV. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. We'll save this for another time, but there is no more overrated food than turkey. I wish I just had steak on Thanksgiving. That's all I'm going to say.
Rory, come on the pod.